The finance industry should exist to serve you, the business owner. If you have felt the pull to work with a financial planner, investment advisor, or other finance professional, but weren't sure about how to ensure that experience resulted in you getting what you need, then today's live is perfect for you. I'm delighted to be joined by Jennifer Thacker, a professional financial advisor with Thacker Financial. And the reason I'm so excited to have Jen here today is because I really love and appreciate her approach to financial planning. So Jennifer has an absolute passion for helping individuals to achieve financial freedom. And she approaches her work with a combination of, yes, a strong knowledge base in finance, but also a background in psychology and a deep understanding of the connection between health and wealth. So really comes at this discussion with a passion for personalized strategies and education and really empowering her clients, which is very aligned to how I like to work with clients as well, tailoring the work that we do as finance professionals to the unique goals, needs, challenges, opportunities that our clients have, i.e. you listeners who are with us today. So thank you to those of you who are hopping on live with us to join us live. Thank you to those of us or those of you who are watching the replay. If you're here with us, we would so appreciate you giving us some little likes or hearts or comments just to let that Facebook algorithm know that we're here. And Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today and giving of your time and expertise. I wonder off the bat if you would just be willing to share a little bit about yourself, your philosophy, and your tagline, which I love, which is health is wealth.
Well, thank you so much for having me today here, Lisa. So health is wealth. So I strongly believe health is physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetic. And money is energy. Money is the energy that flows through everything that we do. The world that we currently live in, money is still the greatest exchange of energy. So the way I see it is your health has so many components to it. Where I step in to help you is looking at money. How can we make it so that it's the way you get to where you want to be, but not a deterrent to your goals and your plans for the future? So to me, that's like, let's look at money and let's see where the risks are there, where your hopes and dreams and your goals are, and how do we take the difference between those two things and get you to where you want to be as quickly as possible in the safest way as possible. Because we work hard for our money. We want to know that our money is going to be there for us when we need it.
I love it. I love it. And I think that's why, I mean, we've only known each other maybe 6 or 8 months, something like that. But I just fell in love with you almost immediately because I do feel like we're really aligned in that vision for it's the client first, and ultimately it's the goals of the client. And as humans on earth, we all have very different things that we want out of life and out of our businesses and dreams for our family and our legacy. And it can look so many different ways. And the finance industry has a lot of tools and strategies to offer to business owners. But I don't know, I just find sometimes there's this like cookie cutter approach or certain tools that are touted as the be all end all. And I think it really comes down to the individual and what they're trying to accomplish. So I really appreciate that approach that you bring to the conversation.
Yeah, I don't think any two financial plans should ever look the same because you, your business, your family, what you want out of life is going to look different for every person. So your financial plan should also be as unique as you are. And sometimes that's simple. Sometimes that's complex. Sometimes it starts simple and it becomes more complex as your business grows or as your family changes or you end up with a mortgage, and your financial plan is your living document. It grows and moves with you, and your advisor should be here for that process.
Yes. And that's something I love too about chatting with you the other day, because I was sending a client to you and you just talked about the whole life plan and how different stages, like your vision really is to walk with people through their whole life. And that's a really beautiful way to approach it. It's not like a quick buck. It's no, let's partner together wherever you're at and make this plan really serve you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I plan on doing this for a very long time. I want to still be here 40 years from now, celebrating with clients what they've achieved, that they've ended up with more money into retirement than they planned. And really, I think your financial advisor is part of your team, your life team, your business team. I should be here to celebrate your wins. I should get a call when you have challenges. And we work through that together. And when your plan is designed properly, there'll be multi layers and levels in there that when something good or bad happens, we'll know where to access money, support, and insurance, whatever it might be to get you through so that you can get back to living your best life.
I love it. I love it. So I guess that just brings me, maybe we should just dive right in. Anyone listening here who maybe has thought about working with a financial advisor or investment professional, but maybe a bit nervous or just unsure what the process looks like, what would be the first step to somebody who wants to explore this? Is there a place that they should be at where it's worth starting, or does it matter? And what should they kind of be prepared so that it really is a good experience for them?
So I always say that people often think they're not ready to meet with a financial advisor. And I would say the minute that you think about it, even before you thought about it, that is the perfect time to connect with an advisor. Because if you're feeling nervous, if you're feeling like you're not in a place, an advisor will be able to tell you that, here's where you are, here's where you want to be, and maybe here's a few steps before we really get into a full financial planning process for you. And often the sooner that you start, the better it is to build your confidence with your finances. And specifically for business owners, there's things that when we want to look at building a full financial plan, insurance and investment should both be a component of that. And for insurance, the younger and the healthier you are, the less expensive the insurance is going to be, and the better chance your advisor has of making that insurance also work as an investment or a bigger part of your larger financial plan.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So immediately, for almost everyone, jump in.
Okay. So I thought we talked today a little bit about what does the financial planning process look like? So you're like, hey, I want to connect with Jen or another advisor, and you reach out and you don't really know what to expect. So I thought we would go through kind of the 5 main steps in the financial planning process and chat about them. So
love it. That's great.
Yeah. Step 1 is what we call discovery. So this is, who are you? What are your hopes and dreams for the future? So often with clients, I like to ask, what does a good life look like to you? What does a great life look like? What does a magical life look like? Because money is going to be that energy that plays through all of it. So if you haven't thought about what financial freedom looks like to you, this is a really great place to start, because I'd like to know ideally where you'd like to end up, what those big goals are right now. And then also we need to look at, like, what are your risks? What are your fears? And how are we going to help you get there? So the first step is getting to know the client, and the client getting to know the advisor. We want to see, does this align in the discovery process? Are we speaking the same language? Can I help you with aligning your finances with the goals that you have? So
I love this so much. And this comes up in my work as well, because the reality is the more you know about a client, the better you can advise them. And this is why I often hear from people, how do you pick the best accountant or lawyer or investment professional? Trust is a really important foundational piece, because you're going to get the best advice if you are just an open book and share everything. And I get that that's maybe not always comfortable, but really we're going to be able to provide you the best advice when we do understand all the nuance of what's happening both now and what your hopes and dreams are for the future. So I love that that's where you start. And I think it's a good reminder that pick someone that you have a comfort with, because we do want you to be open, and we are going to take that information seriously. We honor confidentiality across our industry. That's a really important thing that's drilled into us from day one. But that's such an important piece for us to be able to provide that good advice.
Yeah, the more open a person is about what it is their hopes and dreams are, but also being able to share where your finances are right now. And generally what I say to people is we're a lot harder on ourselves, that when you do finally connect with that professional or start to build your team, your accountant, your lawyer, your financial advisor, your counselor, your doctor, right? These are the teams that we build around ourselves so that we can step into the world and be the best version of ourselves. And it's such a great way for you to know that someone can actually be there through the process, because you've been transparent and you've shared the information that advisor or part of your team needs to be able to help you.
I love that. And it's reminding me too of one sweet client I had a couple years ago who finally booked an appointment with me and shared almost a little bit tearfully, like, I've been wanting to work with someone for a while, but I didn't feel like I was successful enough to be able to hire help. Like, I didn't think I was far enough along. And that's something I would love for us to banish from this industry is we're part of a team to help you to get there, right? Don't wait till you're there. Involve a team to help you get where you want to go, because that's how you get there. And it's that bit of a mindset shift of it all has kind of happens in conjunction, right? But taking that leap and taking those steps out to get to where you want to be.
Yeah. And, you know, as business owners, that's how you feel supported too, right? You're like, I know that I can send a quick email or a text message to my accountant or my financial advisor because I have this question, and the person is going to know my situation, know my business situation, my personal situation, and be able to say, okay, let's look at this now and see how it fits in.
Love it. That's great. Okay, so that's kind of the first step. What would come next?
Yeah, so it kind of takes us into the next one. So this is what I call your homework as my client.
Okay. Yeah.
So the next step is analysis. So now we've had a chat, we've talked a little bit about where you are. This is where your advisor, like myself, needs to get the numbers. I can't advise you generally because we're creating a financial plan that's specific and unique to you. So this is where, you know, I'll ask for your investment statements and how are your investments doing right now? Let's look at where you're at with them. Do you have a group benefits plan? Are you properly covered under your group plan for disability insurance? Do you have a mortgage? How much is your mortgage? Do you have life insurance? There's so many parts. On my end, it's a quick 5-minute questionnaire that will give me that start to hear some of the basic information about this person. Then often there's a little bit more analysis and data collection that happens. And that kind of leads us to the next conversation, which is a continuation of step 1 and step 2. We're still doing discovery and analysis. We're getting a little bit deeper into what are your specific goals? Where are you now? Do you have 4 top goals that you want to go through? You know, are you trying to pay for a child's education? Are you trying to save for retirement? You know, depending on what stage of life you're in, you want your advisor to be able to see where you are now, but also be able to see, you know, 10 steps into the future so that everything starts to layer and build together.
That's great. And I think too, especially with predominantly business owners joining us today, the life cycle of the business too, right? Like there's stages where we're needing to put a lot of investment to get to the next stage of growth. And then there's seasons, hopefully for everyone, where there's surplus and money coming back. And so there's kind of these cycles of thinking through where we're going, but then also what are the opportunities and risks that are at play in that stage? And like what you're talking about with insurance and some of these other things that we don't want to think about worst case scenario, but it's really important that we have some protections in place so that what may, we're going to be okay.
Well, and you know, you could have these great plans for the future and have hundreds of thousands of dollars saved, but one thing that derails your ability to earn income for a year or 2 years can change all that planning so quickly. So you know, it's kind of what is your greatest asset? If you've ever heard a financial advisor ask, and you get, you know, there's all these different answers, but really it's your ability to earn income. It is your health. Your health is your greatest asset. Everything that we want in life, we need to be well enough to make that money work for us, and then go out and you know, I would say I'm helping you live your best financial life. And whatever your best financial life looks like to you, let's make sure that a hiccup, a curveball that you're not expecting. I can be a little bit of doom and gloom when I first start with a client, and I start with, do you know that 1 in 2 people in Canada will get a critical illness? That's 1 in 2, almost 1 in 2 people will get cancer. So, you know, if we know that potentially we could be that 1 in 2, how do we not also make part of your financial plan, making sure that you've got a safety net of income for a year if we can't cover that with insurance? So
And if it's not us, it might be someone that we're very close to that we want to help provide that care and support when they're going through it as well, which again, resources help to make that possible.
Well, and for business owners, there's a lot of ways for some of this to be designed within your corporation. So, it can be done that way. This is where your team really starts to work together, of your accountant, your financial advisor, and your lawyer, to make sure, we've made everything as tax efficient as we can. We've structured it in a way so that, down the road, also we're helping you be able to take this money that you've earned and get as much of it back to you in the end. We work hard for our money, and I think most of us would like to keep a little bit more of it for ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. And have it working for us so that we can get to the point where we're earning without us grinding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. Let's get a plan so your money is working for you and you're not just always working for that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the wonderful benefit of being an entrepreneur, is we have that option available to us. If we're strategic about how we build our businesses, we should all be able to get there eventually. So it's just the strategies to help us along the way. All right, awesome. So discovery, analysis, and then recommendations. And then would I be safe to assume you're moving into implementation from there?
Yeah. So I like to say recommendations and implementations. Your financial plan is your living document. So now we're working as a team. So me and the client, and often it's the client and their family, and then also the client and their business, because there's ways that we can start to build this. I never want you to be overinsured or invested in a way that's not going to make your money grow. So we want to look at your plan overall and how can we do that? So, as we're making recommendations, you'll get a few options from me. I'll present to you why I think, maybe we need to start out with, if it's RSP season, I might say, okay, let's start off with figuring out what your retirement goals are and get your RSPs working for you first, right? Yeah. And so depending on the time of year, depending on where you and your business are, we'll kind of choose what are the first 3 goals we want to do. And then as we start to go into implementation, we work in a step-by-step process. I don't ever want a client to be overwhelmed. And there's a number of steps that can come into it. So, the idea is at the end of implementation, you get a 1 or 2 page living document that I share with you that summarizes where are you now? What are your goals right now? What are your future goals? And why did we put these things in place to start matching up to some of these goals? So some of the things we're doing now could also be building towards retirement, opening doors for, what we might want to do in a corporation down the road as people's income increases and the amount of money that's actually sitting in a business. So lots of little steps, and then you'll have an idea of this is when you need to contact Jen. So I always say you call your advisor when the good things happen in life and you want to celebrate, if that's success in your business or, getting married, having a child, buying a home, any of the things that you would celebrate, but you're like, okay, I should probably add this to my financial plan, but also any of the bad things, a leaking roof that you need to find money. Let's hope you've got a safety net account that we can pull those funds from, the loss of a loved one, an illness, a sickness. So your financial plan should look at both the risks and fears and hopes and dreams and help us get you there.
Love it. Love it. So is there an optimal check-in time? Obviously really good, really bad stuff happening, but how often do you check in with your clients? Anyone here who's maybe already working with someone, or I guess anyone who's thinking about working with someone, how often should they be in contact with their financial advisor? Would you?
Yeah, that's perfect. So that is our last step, is review, and actually, meeting to do these reviews. So I'd say at least once a year. If there's no reason to check in between. So for the client, there hasn't been a change, and there hasn't been a change in the markets, or a change, in the financial plan. So an annual review, absolutely. And I would say, please answer your advisor when they contact you for the annual review. And my other ask would be, when there are changes in your life, reach out, because your advisor can't help you if they don't know what's happening. And then I'd say, it's kind of a decision made at the end of the implementation of the financial plan. At this point, you might have been working with your advisor for 2 weeks, 2 months. It might take a year to get everything in place. There's always, a little bit of burnout at some point in the financial planning process where someone's like, oh, I just need a break. But keep coming back until it's done. So, for example, when I start to have clients that are getting closer to retirement age, so now we're starting to look at how are you going to want to withdraw this money? How are we going to make it tax efficient? How are we going to make sure that the way it's invested, we're going to be having, I like to use something called the cash wedge. Let's make sure there's enough cash for the first year at least, so that if the markets are down, you're not losing money by having to withdraw to support yourself. So then often I'll start doing every 6 months, just so we're staying on top of, what are your plans? What is it looking like for government benefit for retirement? And how can we start to really strategize how the plan that we maybe created 10 years before or 20 years before is now going to shift into the decumulation phase. So you've accumulated it now. How do we make it last so that this income you want to have every month for your retirement is there for you?
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm keeping my eye on the clock because I know we wanted to keep this very consumable for people. Is there anything we haven't covered yet that you want people to know or think about in regards to this topic, like high level?
Yeah. I mean, my greatest tip would be reach out and speak with an advisor. So someone like myself, my business is structured. I'm a non-fee-for-service advisor. So even though I say I'm worth $500 an hour, you don't actually pay me hourly. So that discovery call, those initial first couple of calls, you're getting good advice. You're getting someone that's asking you the right questions. You're learning about these steps and what they would look like for you. And really, it's just, will you pull together the information and do your homework and show up for the meeting? And that's really all there is. And this was never explained to me as a high net worth woman in all the years I spent in the corporate world. I didn't know really what the options were for financial investing. And I think that's why we wanted to share this so much today, was like, let's start with the nuts and bolts, because, there are people that have no idea what the looks like. So, I'm taking on new clients and more than happy if anyone is interested in doing a discovery call and having that initial chat. Your discovery call is before your homework. So, it's a great way to get started.
Awesome. Well, I guess on that note, if anyone's listening and loves your vibe and does want to do that with you, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much open to being contacted anyway. So LinkedIn, I'm Jen Thacker. I'm Jen Thacker on Facebook and Instagram. Don't look at my TikTok yet. It is a work in progress.
Well, that's great. You have one. I haven't ventured there yet.
YouTube is Thacker Financial. So, my website is www.thackerfinancial.com. Just remember there is no C in Thacker. And I think we'll share this in the group as well, so you'll know.
We'll drop some links in the comments so anyone can easily find you from there. That's great.
Yeah. I would love to speak with anyone. I think, my goal really is whatever financial freedom means to you, I want to help people get there and achieve it. I think not having to stress or worry about money every day just opens us up so much more to what we love to do. And I actually just happen to love being a financial advisor. So I love what I do.
Amazing. And it is so rewarding when you can really help people to get to that place of accomplishing those goals and seeing those results. It's so doable. It's available for everyone. But it just requires a little bit of strategy and getting, well, I was going to say strategic, but getting strategic about what you're putting in place. So that's great. That's great. Okay, well, we would love to have you back, Jen. We chatted about a few topics and we were kind of come up with today. So for anyone who's enjoyed Jen here today, this was kind of introductory for those of you who are just starting out on this process, but I think Jen's going to come back maybe in July. We'll do another one to do a little bit of a deeper dive on strategies and give people some inspiration about, what this could look like. Obviously, it's going to be personally tailored to each person. So this is theoretical here. If you do one-on-ones with either of us in our areas of expertise, it's always going to be personalized.
Yeah. Well, and Lisa and I love being able to be the team together to work with our clients as well. So, I think that's
So fun.
right? And we get to be a part of helping you build your business and your hopes and dreams together. And there's a lot to be said for having a team. I think we all need a team in our corner so that we can do what really makes us shine. So start building your team, and I think we'd both be really happy to be a part of it.
Love it. Love it. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you everyone who showed up live. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for your love. And we're going to stop the live stream, but we'll look forward to seeing you in the group. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday, everyone.